Welcome back to Insight. Your names are too close here. I'm going to mess this up.
Yeah.
Gerry Dick hosts Inside Indiana Business on
Perfect.
12
Yes.
at 11 o'clock, ABC 21, Sundays.
Sunday mornings.
How do you get by only doing the show once a week? I'm
Well,
doing this 25 times a week.
We put up our well, it's all the other stuff we do. So it's the TV
Okay, all
and
right.
the radio and all that. So
Yeah.
we stay busy.
Yeah. So talk to me about, because you really do a great job, I think, of bringing people in from around the state and assessing what the strengths are and the weaknesses. What are some of the things people worry about in Indiana as far as business goes?
Yeah, I think right now, Dirk, we're seeing a couple of things. One, it's all about talent. Companies worry about regulation, those types of things, but about attracting and keeping talent. And that's just not at the high end, the tech jobs, those professional jobs. It's at the factory level too. You know, I talked to a tool and die maker in Southeast Indiana who's got about a 50-person shop. He said, I walked out on the floor last week and I looked on the floor and I look around and I say, you know, 90% of these people are going to be gone in less than 3 years. They're going to retire. Aging population, baby boomers retiring. So Indiana's biggest challenge, certainly one of them, is how do we attract and how do we keep talent? And that's going to be key to the future.
I hear that a lot just in the small travels I do. People from Bern to Kendallville in our area are like, if you can weld, you can pretty much write your own ticket right now.
You know, and that is a great point. There's so much focus, and rightfully so, in the life sciences and advanced manufacturing and some of these hot areas. But welders, tool and die makers, there are shortages, not just in Indiana, but around the country for these jobs. And these are jobs that pay typically above the average. These are jobs where you can make a career out of it, and it's being lost on a lot of people. So there's a real focus now on educating, for lack of a better term, parents and others about these careers that at one time maybe it was looked down on, those careers, but those are in demand now where you can make a good wage.
You've covered, done the show for 19 years, been a business reporter before that, including in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
There was obviously some years, I think in 2007, 2008, where things felt like the sky was falling.
Right.
How did the show feel when you brought guests in?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think, especially when you use the Fort Wayne example, I go way back to the early 80s when I was there in the International Harvester closure, which was so devastating for so many years. And then you go forward in the recovery in Fort Wayne and other areas, then back into the recession in the area you told me. There was a palpable psychological kind of feel where people were just saying, man, we want to do better. And it was mainly focused, I think, on the national economy. Indiana struggled, no question about it, but that overhang of the national recession was really weighing on people. And it was just one of those things, is when are we going to see the light at the end of the tunnel? And it finally did happen. And I think, fortunately for Indiana, we came out of it, I think, in a pretty good way. We still have challenges with wages. We need to get those average wages up. But for the most part, Indiana's clicking on a lot of good gears.
How much of your job do you feel like is to be a cheerleader for Indiana businesses?
You know, I tell people all the time, our company was founded, we're not in business to be cheerleaders, but at the same time, worked in media a long time. We want Indiana business to be successful, and that's businesses, communities, academic institutions, because there is so much really positive that's going on in the state. So we do the layoffs, we do the challenges with workforce, but we also do a lot of these stories of entrepreneurs around the state, because there are so many. Even during the recession, we could find stories around the state of people doing neat things. And the more people hear about it, we're a state that doesn't brag on itself.
Right.
I think the better for Indiana.
What do you think having Mike Pence as vice president will that help the economy no matter what your politics are, just having him visible?
Don't know if it will help the economy per se, but I think there will be a definite impact in Indiana for sure. We saw just this week former Indianapolis Mayor Greg Ballard was out at the Trump Tower talking to the Trump team about a possible advising role. Kip Tom from Warsaw, Northeast Indiana, rumored to be perhaps, if not a Secretary of Agriculture candidate, someone who would be a key advisor. So to get these Indiana people, Dan Coates, obviously also on the whole defense and intel area. So there's going to be that Indiana flavor out there, and that can't be anything but positive.
Could listen to this guy talk about Indiana business all day. I guess we can only do this really on Sundays at 11 o'clock on ABC 21. Thanks so much for your time.
You bet, Dirk. Thank you.
We will be right back on Insight.